Hi, good evening. Welcome to Sky Yoga. I'm Stephanie. The white blob on the floor is McLeod. And we're going to do some standing poses today. You might find it helpful to have something to lean on. About waist high would be helpful, a high chair, but even your wall, the back of a sofa, or a shelf could also work. And we'll start in a seated position, do a little pranayama first. Remember to try to change the cross of your legs from time to time. And if it becomes uncomfortable, just change back to your regular position. So let's relax the lower body down. Let it sink into the floor and be your base, your support. And then let your torso just rise up, centered around your spine. Arms and shoulders relaxed and loose, hands resting. And then final step, pull your chin back or down, or whatever it takes to line up your neck with the rest of your spine. I usually find myself looking down at about a 45-degree angle. And let's just pay attention to the breath. Just observing for now. And next we'll do beach ball breath. I like this one. We did it last Saturday. So that's where you breathe not just into your belly, but into your whole torso as if it could expand evenly in all directions like a sphere. So into your belly, but also into your back and into your sides. Maybe feel your elbows go out slightly as your torso expands. So what we're looking for is width here and not just lifting the shoulders as you inhale. Let your whole torso expand. And maybe that inhale becomes even slower and longer as you relax into it. And now we'll do some cleansing breaths. So continuing with your deep inhale into the belly, but with the exhale, we're going to make it a little more forceful. Squeeze your belly and push that air out on the exhale. And for the next one, you may join me for lion's breath, sticking your tongue out on the exhale. With a little bit of a roar, maybe. All right, let's drop the chin down and start just organically moving your neck in place, just kind of wobble. Head hanging down, letting the weight stretch the back of your neck. And when you're ready, begin to roll your chin from shoulder to shoulder. Making a big circle from side to side. And then maybe you can turn that into a full circle, going all the way around. If that doesn't hurt. If it does hurt, don't do it. And then change direction. And then sit up again, shoulders down. We'll open the arms out wide and inhale, reach high. Exhale, release. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, arms down. One more time. Excuse my yawn. And exhale down. Now this time we'll come up and pause at the top. Feel your rib cage lifting up, maybe wiggle a little bit, and then we're going to twist with the exhale. So on your next exhale, twist to the left. Right hand on your left knee, left hand behind you. Look over your left shoulder. And then with your next inhale, come right back up to center, reach high, fill your lungs, and then exhale the other way. Inhale back up to center. And now we're going to drop one hand to the floor and side bend. Bend that lower elbow, pull the upper elbow back. And now we'll make circles. And change direction. And then up, nice and even, reach out long and switch sides. One hand goes down, the other is over your head, pull your elbow back. And make circles. Change direction. And back up, reaching long, thumbs up. Press the backs of your hands toward each other behind you. Really feel your shoulder blades squeezing in toward each other. Open your chest wide, puff it out. This is called Robin's breast. And then with a big exhale, wrap your arms around yourself. Grab the tops of your shoulders and pull them forward. So now we're stretching that space that was just compressed between your shoulder blades. And then bringing hands to rest, either on your knees or in your lap. And we'll do some shoulder rolls to finish off this segment. So inhaling up, exhaling down. You can bring some neck movement into that. And change direction. Wonderful. Okay, let's transition to hands and knees. Coming into tabletop position for some cats and cows. So lengthen up through your arms. Your shoulder blades draw forward and apart. And your back arches up, pressing the belly into the spine. Tailbone points down. And with an exhale, lever back. Rest on your heels, stretch your arms. Maybe slide them out, get a deep stretch. And then bend the elbows and pulling straight through, lift back up. With your belly hanging down, your hips and head high. Inhale and then exhale, reverse and push back. So just keep flowing through that. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And then the next time you're back in the tabletop position, we'll move into thread the needle, shoulder stretch. So right arm stays down, left arm inhales, reach for the ceiling, and exhale to the floor. Hands come palm to palm, and then your right arm slides out. Reach out with those right fingers. Get your elbow over your left hand. Feel your lower shoulder relaxing into the floor. And then with an exhale, wrap that right arm around behind. Wherever is the right place for you. And then roll your left forearm. And then we'll unwind the right arm. It presses you up again, and we inhale the left arm again. And exhale it down. On the other side, left hand supports, right arm inhales and reaches, and then exhales down to the floor. Hands palm to palm, slide your left hand out. Walk those fingertips as far as they'll go. Feel the stretch. And then with an exhale, wrap your left arm around behind you and roll your right forearm. Breathe and let your body weight stretch both shoulders. And then unwind, press up, inhale the right arm, exhale it down. All right, and next up, we'll do kickstand, extending your left leg behind you, flex your foot, roll your foot around your ankle, roll it the other way, circle, yep, there goes the snap, crackle, pop. And then swing that leg out to your left side as far as it'll go. Coming down, resting on your elbows, palms down, sitting on your right heel. Relax your left leg and reach out for your ankle. Let your whole pelvis be heavy, sinking down, stretching the hamstring, opening up the hip joint. And then we'll bring the left hand in, lift up, bring the left knee in, and switch sides. Extend your right leg straight back, flex your foot, roll it around, roll it the other way, and swing it out to your side. Come down to rest. Relax the right leg and reach for your ankle. Let your pelvis sink down heavily, taking your hamstring into a stretch with it. Right hand comes in, we lift up, right knee comes in, and now we're ready for drunken cow. So from your tabletop position, we're just going to swirl the whole body around. Hands and knees stay in place. And everything else is moving in this fluid motion. I feel it down in the hip joints. I feel it up in the shoulders. If this makes your knees pop, maybe put a folded towel or something under your knees. And let's change direction. And then the next time that you're coming forward, let your hips sink down toward the floor in up dog, or if this is too much pressure on your low back, come down to your elbows in Sphinx pose. And look over your shoulders. Look the other way. Feel that stretch in your waist. Maybe up through your mid back. And then come back through tabletop. Open your knees wide, bring your big toes together, and stretch out your arms into child's pose. Butt is pushing back to rest on your heels. Arms are reaching long forward. Remember this sensation of arms and back lengthening into one big long line when we do our standing posture. And now let's come down on the belly. We'll do one conditioning exercise. We'll do tricep lifts. So bring your legs parallel. You're resting on the tops of your feet, legs are relaxed. Your hands are out to the widest part of your chest. Your forearms are straight up and down. You should feel like grasshopper wings. And we're going to lift, straighten the arms. The insides of the elbows are pointing forward. Your knees can stay on the mat or lift off the mat. It's going to be harder to lift them. And then lower down with control. Lift to the full arm's length. Arms are stacked straight up and down. Elbows open to the front. And lower. That's 2. We'll do 5 nice and slow. Lift. Pause. Lower. Breathe. Lift. Pause. Lower. That's 4. We'll do 1 more. Lift. Maybe try to get your knees off the mat for this last one. And lower down with control. Very nice. Let's do child's pose again and a tricep stretch this time. So pushing back, bring the palms to the back of the neck. Feel the stretch through your triceps. We're going to roll around to the back and do just a brief back stretch before we come to standing for the standing poses. So hug your knees in and rock side to side. Sorry for my sniffles. That came on rather suddenly. And then hands on your knees, guide them in circles. Feel your low back flexing against the mat and then flattening out. And then we'll change direction. And then just roll to one side and push up. We're going to transition nice and slow to standing. So bring your feet in front of you, knees bent, hands behind you. Pull your feet in close. And we're going to lift off your butt and bring each elbow to the front one at a time until you're in a low squat. And we'll just hang out here for a moment. This is a great pose for the low back. If you've been standing all day, it takes the weight off your low back. You can rock gently side to side. And if you find it very easy to have your forearms in one straight line like this, then try bringing your knuckles together. And you'll get a little more stretch in the inner thighs. And now we're going to drop the hands to the floor and slowly lift your hips, straightening your legs into forward fold. And you might find it helpful to have a block or some other small support in front of you if your hands don't touch the floor. It makes it a little more stable. So let's just hang here in forward fold. You can sway. You can grab your elbows. If you need to keep a little bit of a bend in your knees, that's fine. But we're really trying to bend from the hips and not the waist. And now let's open your feet out just a bit So they're at least hip width or maybe a little bit wider. We're going to do Rishi's twist. So bring your right hand to your left ankle and lift your left arm high. You can look down or up at your hand, whatever works for you. I really feel this in my calf, and you can calves, both of them, and you can rock back and forth, just shifting your weight. Don't go up on your tippy toes or anything. Just shift your weight forward and back. Breathe. And then we're going to switch arms. So bring your left hand slowly down to your right ankle and your right arm up high. And then both hands down. Make sure to firm up your abs, engage your core muscles, and we're going to roll up to standing. Use your abs to protect your back. Take it nice and slow. Your neck will be the last thing to straighten. And when you get to the top, roll your shoulders back. All right, this is where your chair or wall or whatever might be handy. So placing your hands at about waist level. So my elbows are at my belly button, at my waist, and my hands are right in front. I'm going to step back until we get that arm and back stretch together that I mentioned earlier. So feeling like your arms and your back form one big long line. Feel like a piece of suspension bridge, right? Your legs and whatever you're using for support are those big pillars, and your back and arms are those flexible but strong connecting points. And just kind of sway here, let your hands do the work so your head can hang down. You might just want to do one arm if you have a shoulder like I do that's a little sensitive. And now let's come down into down dog. So bringing your hands to the floor, stepping your feet back. Press your head down between your elbows and feel how similar that was to down dog. Again, we've got that one long line from arms to back to hips. Drop your heels down. And now look at your hands and step up to your hands. And again, engage your abs. We'll roll up to standing again. Rolling the shoulders back at the top, and we'll prepare for triangle pose now. So standing in a nice wide stance, let's just warm up the hips a bit. So just lean your hips one way and the other way. We're just kind of swirling our hips around, feel the stretch. So when your hip is pointing one way, you're feeling the stretch in the opposite inner thigh. You can make it more of a side bend. It's a very organic movement here. All right. And now their hips are a little bit warmer. Open your arms up wide as if we were in Warrior Two. We're going to point the right foot away, like toward the side of the room. So your right heel is pointing at your left arch. Your arms are nice and wide. And we're going to lean your torso to the right, keeping your arms level, and your hip to the left. I'm going to move the chair, it's in my way. There we go. Okay. So leaning the torso to the right, arms are level, hips going out to the left. I'm really feeling this in the back of the right leg. So get yourself as far out as you safely, comfortably can. Sink your weight down into your feet, both of them. So distributing your weight between both feet. And then when you're out as far as you can be, drop that bottom hand. It lands wherever. It doesn't have to touch the floor or anything special. And then lift your left arm high. So your arms are still in line like they were before. And now I'm really feeling that in the right hamstring. And just pause here in triangle pose. Breathe. And now we'll do extended triangle. So bend your forward knee. Maybe your left foot slides back a bit. and rest your right forearm on your right knee. And now reach your hand long so that there's this long line from left hand to left heel. That's extended triangle. And if you get here and you're not too wobbly, you might try dropping your right hand down to the floor. And now drop your hands down. They're on either side of your right foot. Your left heel lifts off the floor and we're in a low lunge. Your right knee is over your right ankle. Sink down, feel the stretch in your left quad. And then drop your left knee. And we're going to come back in a runner's lunge, runner's stretch. So reaching your right hand forward to grab your right foot. We're moving the body back to sit on the left heel. Oh, yeah. So hold that right toe if you can. If you can't, this is a great place to have a strap. It's around your foot so you can give your right calf that deep runner's stretch. And release and sit up. And we're going to make our way back up again and do it on the other side. So coming into a nice wide angle, forward bend. We'll just pause here a moment. Feet are nice and wide, hands are touching the floor, feeling the stretch in the backs of the legs. And then engage your abs and roll slowly up to standing. And we'll do triangle on the other side. So get your feet to a nice width for you. If they're so wide that you feel kind of precarious, that's too wide. So have them at a nice, stable, safe feeling width for you. And lifting the arms up level, like warrior two. We're going to now point the left toe to the side of the room. So your left heel is pointing at your right arch. And we're going to lean your torso to the left, keeping the arms level. I'm feeling a big stretch in the left inner thigh. Get all the way as far as you can. Pause and then drop your left hand and lift your right one, attempting to keep the arms in a straight line. This is triangle pose. Pause, breathe. I'm feeling a great stretch up here as well as in the backs of the legs. Make sure your weight is going down evenly between both feet. And then extended triangle. Bend your forward knee. Rest your left forearm on it. You may have to slide your right foot back like I did. And then reaching long overhead, that long line from right hand to right heel. Sink down, sink your pelvis into it. Feel that stretch. And maybe you can bring your left hand to the floor. Don't be surprised if one side is really different than the other. And then we bring the right hand down. Your hands frame your feet. Your right heel turns and lifts off the floor. We're in a low lunge. Sink into it. Feel the stretch in your right quad. And then drop the right knee. You can flip so that you're on the top of the right foot. And then we'll slowly ease into that runner's stretch. So left hand on your left foot, pushing your body back to sit on the right heel. Hand wherever you need it for balance. Deep stretch in the back of the left leg. And release. And we'll come back into our wide angle stance again, and we'll do Rishi's twist now. So feet in your nice wide stance, whatever feels stable to you. Center your right hand in front of your face. You may want a block or something for support. So right hand in front of you, left hand lifts high for Rishi's twist. And I'm feeling this especially in the right hip joint. Relax your legs. Let your weight sink down into your heels. You can gently sway forward and back if your balance allows that. And then slowly bring your left hand down It takes the place of your right hand centered under your face, and your right hand rises high. Wow, I really feel that in my left hamstring more than I did in the right hamstring. So we are not as symmetrical as we would like to believe. And slowly bring that right hand down. I'm going to rotate. You don't have to move, but I'm going to give you better visual. So in that stance, we're still in our wide stance. Bring your hands together behind your back if you can, and then lift them high. And you'll feel that added weight in your upper body of those arms being up in the air. Just adds a wee bit more stretch, I find, to the backs of your legs. And again, you can gently shift your weight forward and back. We're not lifting the toes or the heels, just shifting where your weight falls. And then release your arms down, and we'll come into down dog one more time and do three-legged dog. So here we are in down dog. You can take a moment to pedal. Like a bicycle. And then drop your heels, press your head down between your elbows, and lift your left leg high for three-legged dog. Look under your left armpit. Open your belly to the air like I'm doing. I needed to tuck in my shirt. And release. Ooh, let's drop to the knees a moment. You can take a child's pose if you need to, or do a wardrobe enhancement. We'll do that again on the other side. Okay, so from tabletop, coming up into tabletop, resting on the balls of your feet, we're going to straighten the legs and lift the hips in the air for down dog. So pause here a moment, pedal your feet, one heel down at a time, pressing the head down, feeling that length from hands to hips, and then lift your right leg high. Look under your right armpit, opening your hips to the side of the room, and bring it down. And drop your knees and take a rest pose. You might want to swing forward into up dog or push back into child's pose, whatever works for you. All right, let's make our way to our back now. Do 5 minutes of back stretches before Shavasana. Anytime you're doing a standing pose or a standing sequence, your back is doing more work than you realize. It's the stability point when all your limbs are moving in different directions. Your back is doing a lot of work. So hug your knees. Tee out your arms, and we're going to lift the knees so that they're directly above your hips. Your feet are just in the air. And then drop your knees to your right. So your body forms sort of as an L shape. Your thighs and your torso are at a right angle. Your right hand holds your knees down. You can look at the ceiling or roll your neck over to the side and look over your left shoulder. And I'm really feeling this stretch in the left hips, mostly around the back of the left hip. Relax into it. Let your pelvis, your gluteus, let it all go soft. And then roll your head back up to the ceiling. Engage your abs, pull your knees in, and hug. And then set your knees up again, directly over your hips, arms tee out, knees drop to the left. Left hand holds them down. And you can look up at the ceiling or over your right shoulder. This is a great hip twist, stretch as well as a back twist. The cloud just got out of bed, did a stretch, and went back to bed. That was me yesterday. And release, and we'll engage the abs, pull the knees back up, give them a hug. Ooh. And it's Shavasana time. So extend your legs fully. Or if being totally flat on your back is too rough on your back, then bend your knees, feet nice and wide, and let the knees collapse inward and rest on each other. That can be a relief for the low back. And let's begin to relax every part of the body, beginning with your scalp. Let your scalp relax. And feel all the little muscles around your ears relax. And let your head sink heavily down. Let your face soften piece by piece. Let your forehead be smooth. Let your eyes be soft. See if you can relax any muscles around your nose. Relax your jaw. All the little muscles around your mouth. Let your whole face just go slack. And check in with your neck. Because your head is supported, your neck can be relaxed. Let your throat soften. Let your shoulders sink back into the mat. And let this soft feeling flow down your arms, to your heavy elbows, to the heavy palms of your hands, and your soft fingertips. Let your arms relax. And feel your whole rib cage relaxing, allowing your back to sink into the mat. Let your belly sink down toward your spine. Let your gluteal muscles sink into the mat. Let your quads relax. Let your hamstrings be soft. Let your knees relax. Let your calves be soft. Let your ankles relax. All the way down through the arches of your feet to the tips of your toes. Let your legs be soft. All you have to do is lie here and let the air travel in and out of you. Let your breath breathe itself. If a thought comes along, just send it on its way. Now take a deep breath, drawing the air through your limbs, your fingers, toes. Gently moving your wrists, your ankles, your neck. And when you're ready, take your favorite transition pose. Often that's a long full body stretch. It might be knees to chest or whatever you wish. And when you're ready, roll to one side, resting your head on your arm. Transitioning from corpse pose to fetal position, a very small rebirth. And when you're ready, push up to seated. Thank you all for joining me. Stay warm and safe this weekend. Namaste.